You are just in time for the family times. This is the place to be. And if you think you have seen it all, heard it all, not yet. Today, it's going to be a different one. We have our guests and we have our hosts. Sharon Jessica is our guest. This is Family Times. Welcome so much to Family Times, Sharon.
Thank you.
And we have our friends, Richard and Tabitha. Say something.
Hello viewer, welcome to the show.
Hello viewer, welcome to the show.
And of course, next to me is my dear wife, Linda. Say something.
Hello viewer, welcome once again.
Now, it has been said that they only live up to the age of 16 years. But today, someone is here defying the odds, and we just want to thank God for that. Amen. And we are excited to hear about her story. Sharon, tell us about yourself.
Okay, my name is Sharon Jessica Odhiambo. I am 26 years of age. I live in Kisumu, and I'm the firstborn in a family of 5. My dad is called Abelongola. He lives in Uriri, and I'm glad to be here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sharon is glad to be here, and we are excited to have her here at Family Times. Now, she tells me she is 26 years old, and she tells me she's a warrior. I like that. Tell us about that name.
A warrior meaning a survivor from sickle cell, anemia. Just as you know, traditionally people know that those living with sickle cell can't go beyond 16. But we have defied the odds for some times because we have proved that we can do more and more.
Richard, she has just mentioned that traditionally, yes, people say, yeah, what do people say about you? Does it matter?
Well, about me, it matters what people say. Mm-hmm. And many times when things are put in your mind in that manner, you look at them and wonder if there could be a change, if there could be something different. So indeed, I think she's a warrior. If she has gone past what people are saying, oh, that's great. We thank God for that.
And again, with the attitude,
yes,
she is a warrior.
What kind of attitude?
Positive attitude.
Of course, positive attitude.
Yeah.
Now, Sharon, you just told us that you are the firstborn.
Yeah.
What a responsibility on your head. Tell us about your family, if you don't mind. Yeah,
I'm the firstborn in a family of 5. I work, but I also do my part-time studies at Maseno University. My follower just graduated last year, and I have one brother who is in university. Then I have a sister at Pangani, secondary. Then the last born is in class 5. And my family, we are God-fearing because it's God that has brought us this far. There's nothing that goes on in my family without God. And I appreciate that from my dad because he has taught us from the beginning when we were toddlers that you can't go far in life without God. So with that, it has enabled me to come this far with this attitude because I know God is always there for me.
As they say that a family is the basic, Richard, you want to say something, but let me just say that a family is the basic unit of a society, and that is where the source of happiness comes from.
Right.
Yes. I picked your statement when you said that you're studying at the university.
Yes.
And then you went on to mention that your follower has graduated. Is that by design, by chance? How? What happened?
Yeah, my follower has just graduated.
Yes.
Because for me, my studies were slow because of my condition. Okay. So at some point, I repeated class 6 because for a whole term, I wasn't in school. Yeah. So because my dad always wanted the best for me, I felt like I should not repeat because they're behind me, they will pass me. Yeah. But my dad always encouraged me and my mom that I can do better. And with them, they've always been a support system for me. That's why my follower is just near.
Oh, yes.
Let me ask you, Sharon, you have said that you're a warrior. And definitely when you're born, and this is something that people talk about, oh, you know what, when you have sickle cell anemia, you can't pass 16 years. What is it, considering that people are talking negatively, like, oh, you know what, a person can't live this age, past this age. What made you, you know,
Tabi,
kept you going?
before Sharon answers that,
Yeah.
I would want us to think, ask about her early life,
Right.
childhood
Exactly,
life, because
yeah.
that is coming up even
Exactly.
as she explains now.
Yeah.
Sharon, you, of course, it's hereditary.
Right.
And at some point, you never understood why you kept on being sick and that kind of thing happening to you. Tell us about your early life.
Okay, my early life, personally, I didn't enjoy my childhood just like other sicklers or other warriors because you are kept indoors. You are not supposed to be there in the cold. Too much heat is bad for your health. So it's like my friends really didn't understand what was going in my life, though they didn't ask too much. We just played as little kids. But generally, I didn't enjoy that childhood because I didn't play so much like others who would enjoy being a child. But for me, it wasn't something big because during that time, I didn't know what was going on. But as I grew up, just in college, that I started to understand what was happening. Yeah.
So in your early life, I believe you must have been hospitalized several times.
Yeah, I was like being hospitalized like every week, every month because maybe infections, I did not have blood. Like I was diagnosed with sickle cells at the age of 3 months. And for sometimes my mom told me like I was in a ward, in an incubator, and those kids that were there with me, there were 5. And among the 5, I'm sorry to say they died. I was the only one who remained, who survived. And it's been a while, my mom never told me about that. It's just last time we were talking and that came up. And for a while I thought, God has been grateful. If I could survive that, I can survive more.
Very true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Let me ask a question to her. At what time did it hit you? Maybe when you're little, maybe life was just like that. But when now you're maybe in Form 1 or in some class, how were you now coping with it? And your siblings, how were they?
Okay, in my high school, I was very special to say because I could not, for example, I could not shower with the cold water. And my teachers really understood my condition. I studied at Ranen Adventist, and I'm grateful for them because they never took me that special, but they really cared about my conditions. And that gave me easy time to finish my studies. And also to my siblings, they have really been supportive anytime, even at that moment. They really supported me and they've always been there for me.
Now, for Richard, Tabi, and Linda, maybe we're talking about family and the support that someone can get from the family.
Yes.
What do you think about this support that Sharon is getting from the family and by extension even the school that is also part of a family, even in high school? What is so important about support for someone who has such a condition?
Yeah, the family is in the center of everything. And I think that even though Sharon was unwell, I think she must have had a good childhood because the family seemed to have been around her. I believe because you mentioned your mom supporting and your siblings also supporting and the teachers also were supporting. And that makes it look like you didn't have a very difficult childhood. You may have missed a few things, of course, because children being who they are, they would want to be up and about, running, playing, and probably you were held back because of that, because of your situation. Yes. How would you feel? How did you feel, rather, during that time when everybody's up and about running and joking and laughing and playing?
You
and
know,
you want to be there?
as a child,
Yes.
you'll feel bad because you think your mother don't want you to enjoy
Yeah,
playing with
true,
them.
exactly.
But for her, she knows what is good for you
Yes.
because she understands what's happening with your life. She understands you better than you understand yourself at that point.
Didn't you think it was a little unfair sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes I thought it was unfair, but now as I grew,
Yes.
I knew why
Oh, well.
he did that.
Very
Now,
Let me mention something about the family again. I think it's important when you have a family, that oneness and them showing you love and part of care.
Yes.
It gives you a relief and a sign of belonging, which most of those people who are going through these hard times need it.
And I like what
Yeah.
she also mentioned about when she was in school. She was a special child. Yes, the teachers showed her favor, but not like, oh, now because you're sick, you can't
Yeah,
do this.
yeah.
You're still participating, but they were giving you that special care, which is really something.
at that point that you were being taken care of by your friends, by your teachers, did you feel these people are too much on me? You know, discrimination, I think, can be positive or negative,
True.
depending
Yeah.
on how
True.
it is done.
Yeah.
Because you know
Yeah.
you can be given extra favors
Right.
because of your condition. Did you at one point feel?
Yeah, at one point I felt it was too much when my father was always coming to school, like every week he was there. And I was like, Dad, you don't have to come here every
okay.
time. I'm fine. So sometimes I thought, although he can be worried as a parent, but sometimes I thought, no, it's too much now, I'm fine.
He was coming
Needs
because of your health or because of your performance?
He was always coming to check on my performance
And
and
your
also
health.
my health.
Now,
Also
maybe you could explain to us why your father would come based on the crisis that I know such a patient
Condition.
with such conditions go through, because I know they sometimes go through some crisis.
Right.
Please explain to us a crisis moment.
Okay, the crisis moment, like the crisis is caused by when the blood can't flow through the
Veins.
veins when the veins are blocked.
Yeah.
So you have some pains in your joints, in your
Joints.
legs, your hands, and even your thighs, and the bones pain. So you know, in my school, it was next to the hills, and it was very cold. So sometimes I could have crisis. That's why my father kept on coming to check on me if there is anything, if I needed my drugs, if they were over. That's why he kept on coming on and off.
So this crisis, how do you explain it? How do you explain
how
that
does it
pain?
come?
I mean, what happens when you get into a crisis? What happens? Or if that doesn't happen, I mean, what is the, let me say, the first aid to a crisis, or what would be the mitigating step?
Maybe the first aid part of it.
Okay, the first aid, if you get in a crisis, you can, okay, for people living with sickle cell, they have already known their bodies, and they know if I take this drug, it will help in my crisis. But when you take the drug that you are used to taking when you are in crisis, but it doesn't respond, you go to the hospital. And for the hospital, they know what to do. It's either they put you on drips or they inject you with painkillers. But there are those severe crises that will lead you to be injected with morphine to let them stop.
Morphine.
Yeah, but so for those living with sickle cell, there are various, for example, for me when I'm in crisis, I use diclofenac or tramadol. But when that can't work for me, I just go to the hospital and put on drip, and it helps.
So basically, okay, maybe just to give our viewer a glimpse of what you go through on a bad month.
Yeah.
How often can you
Get
go
attacks.
maybe get attacks and be hospitalized?
Crises are always frequent when there is cold.
Cold, okay.
Because the cold makes the blood thick.
Yes.
And it doesn't flow through the veins. So for me, my crisis that always disturb me is for my legs. They swell and they're always painful.
Very
Those times I
painful.
can't walk. I only crawl on my knees.
Really?
But I use diclofenac or tramadol, but when that can't work, I just go to the hospital and I'm put on drip and painkillers.
So by now we know that your family understands very well what you go through.
Yeah.
So how do they come in? How do they help when you're in such a condition?
For now, I live alone.
I wanted to ask, do you live alone or with
I
someone?
live alone, and that was a problem because my mom didn't want me to live alone. But I told her, I won't live with you forever. And I just needed to stand on my own.
Right.
But when crisis happens to me, like the times they just come even at night, at 9, when everyone is asleep, and if I'd taken my medicine and it's not working, I just called the boda person
To come and
to come and pick me up. Then I go to the hospitals. So at the hospital, I call my mom to tell her that I'm in the hospital. So for her to be aware that I'm in crisis. So when I'm already in the hospital, I get help from the doctor, and my mom has already known. So she communicates with the sisters, and I'm grateful for the sisters, my
extended
aunts.
family,
They've always been supportive wherever I'm sick and my mom is away because she doesn't live in Kisumu. They've always been there for me.
I think you are very courageous.
Yeah, she
to live
is.
You
alone.
are really a warrior.
Yeah.
To decide to live on your own,
Yeah.
despite what you're going through, is really courage. What gives you that courage, Sharon?
Richard, she'll tell us about that courage
Yes.
after this short break.
Okay.
We come back and Sharon is going to tell us about the courage. Stay tuned. I told you, welcome back. Family Times is here. And we're talking about courage, we are talking about warriors, we are talking about defying the odds. And Sharon Jessica has just told us a bit of the courage. Sharon, we want to talk about the challenges. And of course, you've talked about the positives, the support you get from your family, the support you got from school. And you've also, you are well equipped, you know what to do when what happens.
Right.
But we want to talk about the challenges. I know this condition requires a lot of finances. Please just tell us about that, the finances, the challenges, the financial challenges.
Okay, the financial challenges are very huge because the drugs that we use regularly are very expensive. Like the drugs you have to use from January to December, December to January, it's a lifetime. But if you want to use, like it is a dose like monthly, and if you want to buy one in a month, you have to part with like 3,000, and there are like 3 drugs that you have to use. So it's a heavy duty having to buy the drugs because we are not financially capable every time. There are those times that we lack. So the financially it has been difficult because buying the drugs, the hydroxyurea, paludrin and folic acids, and also those times that you are admitted in the hospitals, because sometimes the public hospitals can't be of really help. That's why some people prefer the private, because you get quick attention. Because this condition really needs quick attention. Because when you don't get quick attention, you can just die, because it really needs quick help. So financially it has been difficult because there's so much money spent in the hospitals, out of the hospitals, for food, for medicine, when you are admitted. So it's really a lot.
Richard,
Yes.
do you understand the magnitude of this condition,
Yes.
finances,
Yes.
and you know the family has to come together? What do you guys think about these finances?
In fact, when you go to the hospital, you need to give money. And everything, medication, it's money, money, money. So when you're not able to raise such kind of money, it sometimes pains you knowing that someone is going on a crisis and maybe you can't even get medicine, you can't even get transportation to the hospital. It really pains someone.
Maybe, Sharon, have you ever missed drugs because of lack of finances?
No, I haven't missed drugs, and I thank God because I've seen an example. There's a time I went to the rural in Seme, that those who suffer from sickle cell, and I went for some awareness. And those people say they don't have drugs because those drugs are really expensive. And some die because of that. And for me, I'm really grateful because whenever, me personally, I don't have some cash, my mom will come in and buy the drugs for me. Yeah.
You have talked about a support group, and this support group is, tell us about this support group. What does it do? How do you go about this support group?
Okay, I have a support group for supporting those living with sickle cell and also those who are not living with sickle cell, just to create awareness to tell them about sickle cell.
Right.
Because generally what is killing people living with sickle cell is discrimination, and like in the rural areas they think it is chira, and that's why you see other women telling those with sickle cell that your families has been cast, your child is this way, your child is this way, because some of us who are living with sickle cell, we have this jaundice, and we also have the stomach is swollen because of the spleen has enlarged, so it's pushing the stomach. So when they see someone like that in the community, they think otherwise. So that's why I came up with the support group to help those in the communities, in the rural areas, to create awareness for them to accept these people, because if you accept them, they have that courage to face the world. But if you deny them, they will shrink, and that will lead to their death.
I have met a couple, or a friend of mine, who is married right now, but she has sickle cell anemia. One thing though, among the discrimination that you get, do you have problems dating?
Yeah, it's a big problem, because someone says when you date someone living with sickle cell, you won't enjoy life with them because you are on and off in the hospital. So there's no need dating someone like that. I had something like that in college when I was planning an awareness in college. My first awareness program, we were inviting people to come, and also we just went to take lunch in the cafeteria before we went back to class, and we sat with my friends. But after talking to those guys, we had them say, this sickle cell thing, I can't marry a woman living with sickle cell because
it's lack of knowledge.
You just spent your entire life nurturing them without enjoying life with them. So there's no need. It's useless marrying such people like that.
Now, the group that, if you do you just have specifically only the people with sickle cell anemia in your group, or even people without sickle cell?
We have people without sickle cell. Like sometimes we have parents without sickle cell bringing their children with sickle cell. So when we bring them together, we teach them on sickle cell, what it is and how they can manage it. It brings some hope, because they realize, kumbe, this is not chira. This thing can be, you can live with it and survive.
Now, Richard, I'm beginning to realize that there is a lot. I have a lot to do, not just to thank God about, but also to do, because I just marvel at Sharon's testimony and experience in life, because she has to surmount so many things. Even the physical, the appearance, the jaundice she's talking about.
That's the first thing that somebody actually notices.
And the body size also.
There's one thing for which Sharon amazes me about. I think Sharon is a happy lady.
And
she knows what she's doing. Because even as you suffer, you've come up with a support group.
Right.
And you're already thinking about other people.
True.
I want to attribute this probably from the support you got from home.
Yeah.
Your family. Your family must have had a very good part in this.
Yeah.
Is it? And I believe your parents probably are supporting you a lot in this one.
Yeah, my parents have really been supportive, but what I've gotten is a teaching from my dad. He has always said that even if someone can't do good to you,
Yes.
always do good to the others, because
Yes.
it will come back to you.
Wow.
Because this world can be very
Yeah, the
insensitive.
Bible says.
It can be very insensitive. Yeah, and I'm just, I'm amazed at how you just go through that.
Yeah.
Somebody
Taking
coming
it
to discourage
positively.
you.
You can't
and
give
know
something
your
that you
belief.
don't have.
Yeah.
So she has it. So
Yeah,
she
she
wants to
has it.
empower other
Yes,
people.
yes.
Which also really helps. Because when you have a goal, when you have a vision in life, you really want to make it come true.
Yeah.
So that's why,
And maybe, Sharon, I've known you to be a spiritual lady. Tell us about that, and how does that help you around
Maneuver
in
around.
your endeavor to seek a quality life?
Yeah, I've been spiritual since childhood because I've realized even if you go to the hospital, sometimes doctors cannot save you, because my doctor, I know sometimes he's watching, he's called Dr. Gafna, but he's been really helpful. But sometimes I know even with the doctors, you can die if God wants you to die, because doctors can work on it, but if you're going to die, you will. But if God still wants you to live for a purpose, you will always live. And I thank God for that, because I've gotten strength in Him. Sometimes it is very tough with the pains and with everything, but
Wonderful.
He has kept it going because of Him.
Strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah,
Linda.
God is the source of all this. For us to see Sharon talking like this, it's God in her, and may God bless her really.
Actually, there is nothing you can do without God. And
And also my doctor is SDA. That's why he keep on encouraging me. He's telling us, Sharon, we are just going to treat you, but it's God who will heal you. So it's also been an encouragement
so
to me.
that gives you a lot of encouragement.
Yeah.
Because now I just want to take you back a little bit on what Tabi mentioned.
Yeah.
And it comes out as stigma
Yeah.
when she asked you about your social life.
Yeah.
And there was this gentleman who said, I cannot marry someone who has sickle cell. How does that impact you in life?
Okay, for a while you can feel bad, but someone like me, I think I've developed a thick skin for it.
She's past that. You're past that.
Because I felt it when I was organizing the event at school. It hit me at that moment. But as you grow older, you experience so much that you say that it doesn't even matter. Although most of us in our we have a group for sicklers. People always talk. You hear, you see people share experiences, and you realize the stigma is real.
It's real.
Because people outside there think that these people can't be dated. People living with sickle cell, it's not worth it. And for those living with sickle cell, they're like, why? They have those unanswered questions. They feel like they're also human beings like others. They only have sickle cell that makes them different, but they don't really feel that they deserve this. Yeah, dating has been a challenge, but for a while we've developed thick skin for what people say.
Do you have someone who gives you psych, maybe in your group, doesn't matter?
Yeah, I have a friend. I have so many friends who give me psych that maybe the right person will come who will love you the way you are, and it's just a matter of time for that to happen.
I met this friend of mine. She has a girl who is almost your age, and she also has sickle cell anemia. So the first time I didn't know that I met this, and then she told me, oh, you know what, Tabi, my daughter is sick. And then the daughter gave her eyes like, Mom, I'm not sick, you know? So she has also accepted it, and she's also living positively with it, you know? So I think living positively with any condition really, really
I wanted
helps.
to say that Linda stole my mind. I don't know, she read my mind and took it, but I understand because she's my wife. I wanted to ask from that direction as we come this way, because now we are talking about a very important bit. We're talking about hope.
Right.
And at Hope Channel, that is what we endeavor to give hope to everyone. Richard, hope. Is there hope?
There is hope.
I saw you looking at Sharon, and I think you're so much inspired. Share with us.
Yes, I am. I am inspired. Seriously, because of what you have told us today. And I believe that even the viewer at home can attest to that. What you have gone through, what you are doing at the moment, in terms of support that you're bringing and all that.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I thank God for you. And please don't think about it so much. Leave it to God, because you are dependent on God. And please keep it there, because you're a wonderful person. God will plan everything for you. I believe, I'm totally convinced, Dave, that Sharon is a real warrior.
Amen.
They say there is hope at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
This is already the end of the tunnel.
It is indeed. There's hope.
Tabi.
Yeah.
Hope is here. Where else do you go to? I mean, the thing is, people have said so many things, we have had so many things, but we have hope here. Why am I saying that? She has gone through it, she is still going through it, and she is positive about it. And I believe she's not only encouraging somebody with sickle cell anemia, because with the different challenges, you know, you can look at a situation and look at your own situation and say, if that little girl or that young woman is going through this and she still has a smile on her face, that really is something that is that can keep you going. So Sharon, that's something.
Now, Sharon, you can tell us, you remember what Richard asked you about, the courage. Now, this is the time to tell us what gives you courage. What keeps you going?
Okay, what keeps me going is what couldn't happen in the world without me. Because there's things that I do that I say, okay, I don't do them for people to see me doing them, but I do them to leave a legacy that at some point, even if I die, they'll see what I'm doing. But sometimes I'm crushed to the bones when I lose friends suffering from sickle cell. Like for the past 6 months, I've lost 4 friends. Even today in the morning, I've called that one is dead.
It's all right.
But it doesn't give me much pain, because I know it's by faith and because of God. It's God that have kept me going all this while. Because if I couldn't survive it, the past, I know I can survive it now because I could survive it in the past. So I'm not...
You know, God gives
I'm not...
Faith is the victory.
Faith is the victory.
Faith is the victory. That's a beautiful, beautiful piece that you need to listen to. Faith is the victory. Linda, hope. Is there hope? Based on our story, do you think you have hope?
Yeah. In fact, let me just share something. That when God created everyone, He knew that at a certain point, she will be a source of inspiration to someone. We thank God for her. She has given us a beautiful story, and from that far, we see her. It's Ebenezer, and we thank God for whatever things He can do in our lives, and we have a testimony here. And be blessed and be hopeful that everything is going to go well.
Richard, your final words?
I want to stress on this one, that what Sharon is doing comes from the support system that she has. And that is because the family is very strong. That family, which gave her support right from when she was a real child to the moment where she is now, must have really built her for this. So family support is the most important thing for a child when they face that kind of challenge. And because of that, and because of a Christian background, you know, God will give you strength to continue to do that. I'm really touched. I'm really touched.
Sharon, your last words?
Okay, my last words, I just want to encourage someone outside there that have already lost hope, maybe on cancer, on diabetes, on sickle cell, that there's always hope. With God, everything is possible. Whatever has happened, sometimes things happen that we as human beings, we can't understand. But for God himself, he knows it all. And he says he created you from the beginning, and he knows everything in your body, every bones. And that's why for me, I think I've left everything to God. And I also thank my family, my friends, even my friends at church, Kenyari Youth. They've always been supportive. And I'm really thankful for those who don't discriminate or stigmatize, but they support. We're really grateful for their support.
Wow,
Yeah.
thank you. What more can we say? I told you, and it is evident that we need no any other evidence. We need no any other plea. It is enough that Jesus died and to save you and I. God bless you even as we meet again. This is Family Times. Bye.